Oh, it's Steve Arts 89. Well, I just heard about this. There was a young black man called O'Shea Sibley who was stabbed to death in New York, in Brooklyn, for voguing. He was a member of the ballroom community in New York. He was a dancer. I'm assuming he was gay, but I don't know. No one specifically stated that. But he was voguing. He was listening to Beyonce's, I'm guessing he must have been listening to Beyonce's Break My Soul, the Queen's remix featuring Madonna, which features Vogue. And that was enough for a person with Muslim beliefs to stab him to death, because that offended their religious beliefs, that he was voguing, which I guess they assume was proof that he was gay, and him existing as gay was enough to justify them murdering him. And this is the kind of thing I would expect, in a small town, because, maybe you could try that in the city, but you can't try that in a small town, as the song says, because that's what they'll do. They'll kill you. They will chain you to the back of a car and drag you along in the dirt until you're dead, and, wire you to a fence and burn you alive, because that's what they do in the country. That's what's happened to gay people. Not making that up. That's what's happened. And that's some of the anxiety that you live with as a gay man. You have these examples of these horrific things that have happened, these hate crimes that happen. And when I lived in a small town, I was scared of that. And I had, there were times where people wouldn't let me walk alone by myself. They'd drive me somewhere because they were afraid for my safety. And I sort of was too, but you live with it, so you get used to it. But when I moved to the city, I didn't think I had to worry about that, because I felt like even though there's a lot of people, there's more people, there's people who, they understand, they're exposed to more people, they just understand tolerance, whether they sort of want to develop it or not. They develop a tolerance because they're around other people all the time. They don't have that sense of entitlement, ownership, and thing that people in small towns have, where they feel like we're a community, this is how we act, and anyone outside of that is some sort of threat or enemy. In the city, I never feel like we had that, so I've always felt safe in Melbourne, or safer than I did in Tasmania and Georgetown. And I always thought that people in New York were safe, that wouldn't happen to them there, because of just the nature of the city and the society and the community and that a big city has. But this young black man was stabbed to death by someone of Muslim faith because them voguing was enough to insult their religious beliefs, and that justified in their minds them killing that person as retribution or revenge, or they felt justified in doing it. And I find that so disturbing. And it's not just the Catholics and the Christians and that who feel that there's something wrong with being gay, and that they are entitled to act on these beliefs, that they believe that's wrong, and they feel like judge, jury, and executioner. And it's something that is getting worse, because they're constantly being told, and there's laws being made now that back them up, that their religious beliefs somehow have some sort of basis in reality and law, and what you believe is fine, but don't expect me to live my life based around it. And the idea that people's religious beliefs are being used, whether legally or just personally, to affect other people or punish other people for what they believe. It's just really disturbing. And all this guy was doing was dancing with his friends at a gas station. I'm guessing they were just getting fuel or something, and they had the music on in the car, and the guy was just voguing while he was waiting. I mean, I'm a gay man. I'm a Madonna fan. I know how to vogue. I randomly vogue. I've vogued in public, and I've never thought about, gee, that could get me killed, because that could happen. And you may think that's ridiculous, but it just happened. And I say a lot of the times how dangerous things are now. All these things that weren't a problem before now, are a threat, because people have been emboldened by this current sort of thing we're going through, where people feel entitled to express hate and claim it's free speech, and to express bigotry and prejudice, and for their religious beliefs to be validated and treated as though they're fact or law, or they have some substance or something, when really it's just their belief. There's people, I think some of these people are mentally ill, that they actually believe. They're entitled to be judge, jury, and executioner, and it's something disturbing about religion that you don't need proof, you don't need evidence, you just need to believe. And when you convince people all they need to do to make something valid is to believe it, that sort of allows some people to believe they can do anything, and anything that they believe can be justified and validated, and it's just a disturbing thing, and it scares me. And I decided to want to do a video. I needed some YouTube therapy. I needed to talk about it for a minute and share it with people, and I just hope that, you know, YouTube lets this video get seen by a few people, but I know it won't, because YouTube doesn't share any of my videos, because I talk about things like this, and YouTube doesn't like people talking about real issues. So yep, I'm gonna go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. R.I.P. Mr. Sibley.